Hi Aries, here's a general look at your solar chart for June 2013, and I think this is the moment to mention again, as I have done many times before, that you, along with the other cardinal signs, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, are undergoing a pretty tough set of transits. And you're probably saying, well, yeah, tell me about it, especially if you were born in the earlier part of Aries, say, or 30th of March to 2nd, 3rd, 4th of April. You will probably be feeling it the most at the moment. But really and truly, these two planets of change are telling you and giving you the hint that it really is time for you to shift maybe into a space or an area or a mindset that you never would have considered before, and that will actually help this your situation, ease the situation as you're going through the massive shake-up in your life. So this is a period with Saturn in Scorpio, which isn't in a bad angle to your sun sign, but it's in a very powerful position, and it's to do with getting rid of the old and making space for new green shoots to come up. So changing your position in fundamental ways where old habits are concerned, old beliefs are concerned, your standpoint, we're all anchored in a standpoint. And that starts from when we're really, really very, very small. So that we can orientate ourselves in this strange dimension. So we're anchored in a mental standpoint. And then that has overlays as we get older and we get we sort of get indoctrinated by others around us. And just by the example of the way the whole thing's running, really. So you find a way to survive. Well, this is a time now when some of that, certainly not all of it, but some of it is up for pruning, weeding, or actually being ditched altogether. So changing your standpoint, which could then manifest as changing the way you work, who you work with, where you live, relationships, and old habits. Once again, things that have they're out of date now. They've outlived their shelf life now. And you're a very outward looking sign, so you will look outwards and see what you can change or what's going on with things around you all the time. You're always looking at the effects, but really with Saturn, Uranus and Pluto in this kind of squeeze, pincher movement onto your sign, you should be looking to yourself, really, and how you are the cause in some way, or rather the energies channeling through you are actually triggering certain events around you. So therefore, if you get on top of or get in more control of your inner world, and yeah, I suppose it's all very well for me to sit here and say that, but actually as one of the mutable signs, I've been through this same movie as you are in now, and once you played a part in that movie, you never forget it. So I'm just kind of trying to help you to know that there is a wonderful sort of opening out afterwards, and a flowering and a blossoming and an unfolding, because these energies are meant to mature you, but also they are the energies of change. So therefore, you might find yourself stepping sideways off a path that you thought you were on for, as far as you could plan ahead. You might find yourself rewriting the scripts, and also letting go of, I'll say that again, habits, bad ways of thinking, bad ways of being, and going more within yourself. And I'm making a big deal about this month because we've got this wonderful Saturn trine to Neptune going on, which has been going on since May, and that will deepen you. So things that are going on now, particularly for you Arians born very, very close to, your sun is very close to the degree that Saturn, Pluto, Uranus are in just now at the moment, this month. But this is for the whole sign, and it's for all the cardinal signs as well. So I'll be saying this something similar anyway with Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. That this is to deepen your awareness, to help you to go within, to start moving from inwards to outwards, rather than just being flying around in a maelstrom of what's out there, or flying around in a maelstrom of not feeling right, or maybe not feeling good, and not really knowing who to blame, why it's happening, and why me. Or denying things, denying that you need to change this or change that, denying that you need to make a decision which isn't really your thing. Actually, you're very good at making decisions. But maybe denying that you need to make the right decision on something. It can work in lots of ways, but just this month with Saturn on Neptune, and of course you'll be seeing this in May, so it'll be very much going on in May, and Saturn is retrograde, and it's retrograding in an area of Aries, which is you guys born 24th to the 27th, around about there. Last month it was the 25th to the 29th, but I'm talking about June now. And that's with 4 to 7 degrees rising, or 5 to 9 degrees rising last month. You are going to be undergoing this quite a lot, because it's really almost like going to be rubbing salt into the wound in a way. And I'm using these terms for those of you who are just sort of flagging a bit. But as a matter of fact, every single one of these planetary energies can be turned into a tool and can be turned to your advantage. If you say, okay, it all starts with me, then not being just getting lost in in your woes, or in the problems, or in the challenges, and then mulling them over and over. I don't mean that. I mean going beyond them. I mean rising above them. So meditation is, what I always say is to come from the deeper levels of your knowing, the very deepest primeval level of your knowing, going way back into caveman times, because your sign does rule that anyway. And instinct, which is not anything to do with logic. It just isn't. It's instinct. It's animal instinct to know which is the best way to deal with whatever it is, how to view something that's happening. It's instinctual, because instinctively we as a species have survived, because we've instinctively understood how to turn adversity into a tool of advantage, or a weapon of advantage. So without me spending the whole time going on about this, I'm just going to leave it at that, and just say to you that this Saturn-Neptune transit will very much enable and facilitate you. Will able almost like be you to see your life as part of an amazing saga, an amazing adventure, an amazing story, a hero's tale, and also is to help you not just to theorize about things, but actually to pick up the shield, pick up the sword, and walk the talk. Walk that instinctive knowing that you have, in whatever way this relates to you. Anyway, in June, well, it's quite a bright and breezy energy, as a matter of fact. Having gone there, let's just come up into the sort of the, get more oxygen now, and take a breath. Yeah, I mean, the sun's in a very communicative, sociable, busy kind of an area. It's in Gemini, where it always is at this time of the year. So you meeting and greeting more, maybe connecting with people over the wires, probably more stuff to get your head around, probably running around more, and education and travel and media and that type of thing where you're making connections. All of that is very much highlighted. And then from the 21st, the focus is going to be more on the base of operations, your neighborhood, your backyard, your, a space inside, maybe property matters for some of you, and also family, and also, your emotional life, your emotional well-being, how you're feeling inside, how it's balanced, how you're sitting, where you're anchored, and your gaze will tend to be more inwards from there. Mercury's in a long transit, meaning that discussions and thoughts and maybe even paperwork could be centered around the base of operations, property matters, neighbors, family. So you could be mulling things over there. There could be a blast from the past to do with family, extended family. It could be to do with property. It could be just a blast from the past. It could be to do with you harking back to the past in some way, either because that was, a reminder came up, or just because you're feeling a bit nostalgic. And whatever is going on, your feelings will tend to be nearer the surface, and some interchanges could kind of stir up things, could touch a nerve. Either way, always look for the balance. Keep mentally busy. Don't tire yourself out. And it's going to be, distraction activities sometimes, but very busy, not far away from the home base or from HQ, wherever you are. Venus is also in the mix here for most of the month. She comes into this aspect from the 2nd and stays in that until the 28th. So Venus is going to be beaming a very friendly light, warming up the home area, warming up family relationships or extended family, tribal relationships, community relationships, neighborhood relationships. If a hatchet has to be buried over something, then this could be the time. But also it's a time when you might be just a little bit more tucked away inside of yourself. Go out and sort of dig the garden, or get into nature, very much connecting with nature, a real dialoguing with nature, with Mercury there as well, could be happening at the moment. It's a great time for anything like that, and to be thinking about Gaia, to be doing things for the earth. And it's a good time also to be making home improvements, embellishing your space, working maybe in some kind of collaborative way with nearest and dearest within a neighborhood, etc., etc. Kind of the flow of kind of human kindness, working very much within the community, not very far away from you, and of course that goes for over the wires as well. But you could be feeling a bit nostalgic, and you could be feeling a little bit self-protective, as I say. This Venusian energy from the 2nd to the 28th is likely to bring a feeling of balance into your inner life. Mars is in your solar communications sector. By the way, I should have mentioned that Mercury is going to be in that area there until August the 9th, so a very long transit. Mars is in your solar communications sector, can be pretty demanding, can make you feel more competitive, can make you perhaps sometimes Aries, not engage brain before mouth. So, just got to watch that. There could be more demand on you for correspondence type things, paperwork type things, toing and froing, coming and going, meeting and greeting, business type. Like a schedule, having to keep to a bit of a schedule there, but you starting to feel more crystal clear about things, more confident about things, speaking up and expressing you, perhaps in a more assertive way. But watch that Mars thing about, being aggressive and others finding you aggressive for some reason. So just get things off your chest, though, because Mars is here to help you to do that. And you could do very well through promotions, buying, selling, anything like that, media, but just don't be too hasty either with what you're speaking out, or indeed when you're on the road in some way as well. As I say, Venus at the root of your chart is going to help balance things out. This is the month that Jupiter changes signs. So for 12 months, Jupiterian expansiveness is underpinning your learning through perhaps connecting within a community. Sort of the community has become a learning resource for you. But then on June the 26th, Jupiter goes into Cancer, and that means that there's a different kind of angle, a different geometry, a different pulse now coming into your sign, Aries, and this will be highlighting expansion related to your place on the map, your neighborhood, your space inside and outside, but also your space within. And I would have said, and I will say, that Jupiter here is going to help balance you emotionally, help you to get this feeling of proportion back, help you to get this equilibrium back in your emotions, in your inner life, but also in your community, maybe within your neighborhood over this very long transit. It goes on for a year. But also it's a good time for moving. Any of you thinking about doing that, and any property exchanges you could do quite well. And you Arians born between the 20th to the 22nd of March, and the 13th to the 20th of April, or with from 23 degrees rising, that's to the end of the sign, or up to 2 degrees rising actually as well, will feel this energy the most this month. And if you want to know what the a little bit more information about the other outer slower moving planets, then go to my website and you'll find out which part of your sign they're affecting also. And I will see you again. I just want to say to you as well, for anybody new, that if you know your rising sign or your moon sign, then you can listen to the forecast for those, because it'll sort of add to or maybe subtract from what I've said here, and it'll all kind of mesh together once you get the hang of it, and just chuck out the bits that you don't need. And I will see you the next time.